6/7/2015 at 7:27, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That might be a good video game. Juggle different things. Juggle marshmallows, juggle balls, juggle chainsaws, who knows? You know, that'd be a cool video game. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I like video games like SuperMan. Atari 2600 SuperMan. That was a cool ass game. And I see it on YouTube where people are knocking it and saying it's the worst game ever. They're crazy. They don't know how to play it. I see him try to play it and he don't even know how to play it. He's rating it bad. First understand the game and know how to play it, then rate it. That guy, or them guys, a bunch of people, hate that game because they think it's random. You know, like when he goes down out of the screen, you know. Here, if you keep going like this with Superman, screen to screen to screen to screen to screen to screen, there's 21 screens. And then if you go through a phone booth, you go into the subway, which has 4 screens, like blue and red and green, like that. And there's like 4 screens in the subway. And if you keep going straight though, in Superman, either to the right, or to the left, if you just keep going straight, you go 21 screens before you come up to the next screen, and that'd be 22, which is actually 1 again. So there's 21 screens. Okay, but if you go down, you know, you're going straight like this, and you go down out of the screen, that puts you in like a bunch of screens ahead or back. It puts you in a different part of the city every time you go down, and every time you go up, same thing. It puts you in a different part of the city. You don't go up and then go back down, because if you go up, you're in a different part of the city, and then when you come back down, you're in a different part of the city. So this guy, what he did is he comes out, he puts the guy in, or wait a minute, he was on a bridge scene. He was on a bridge scene where you find 3 pieces of bridge and put them in that scene, and it automatically builds the bridge. Well, he had a piece of bridge. I think he dropped it there, or no, he was carrying it, and he went down like this, right out. Here's the bridge scene, and he went down. He goes back up. He says, "Where the hell did the bridge go? Where the bridge go?" And he kept doing it. And every time you go up, you're in like 5 or 6 screens ahead or back. And same thing, you're going down. So every time he went down, he was 5 or 6 screens ahead or back. And when he went up, same thing. He'd never find it that way. You don't go down or up unless you want to go to a different part of the city. And that's what he don't understand. Another thing he didn't understand, what he did is he drug his feet through a phone booth. You know, he figured it's just what he was figuring is this is just an Atari game. You know, a 2600 game. This, you know, it's junky and the graphics are junky and the gameplay is junky. It's just Atari 2600. That's what he's thinking. And he's full of shit. Man, some of those games are really involved, and Superman is one of them. Well, he's flying like this, straight, right? And there's a phone booth. There's 2 or 3 phone booths in Superman. And he drug his feet. You know, like here's the phone booth, and here's his foot. He drug his foot through the phone booth, so therefore he goes into the subway system, and that's 4 different screens for the subway system. And if you keep going up and down, and then go out left and right out of them to go to different parts of the city through the subway. And he couldn't understand it. He's dragging his feet through the phone booth, and once you do that, you go to the subway. He couldn't understand that, and he couldn't understand. I said they're laughing about that. I kept laughing. I'm going, this guy's he's got a few screws missing, and then when he's at that bridge scene, just one scene with a broken part where you build a bridge, he had a bridge piece. He says, "All right, I'm at the bridge scene," and he goes down. He goes back up. He thought the bridge scene was gonna be. You don't know how to play the game. You gotta know how to play the game before you rate a game. before you give it a worst score ever, saying this game sucks, and he gets all mad, and he turns it off. He says, "Fuck this shit! This is just an Atari game, 2600, and it's he's full of shit. Atari 2600 games are very involved, some of them, like Superman. But you gotta capture 6 robbers, put them in jail. You gotta find them first. Find the 6 robbers, put them in jail. In the jail scene, there's only one jail scene, and that's one of the 21 screens. And there's only one bridge scene, but the 3 pieces of bridge are all throughout all the screens. So you gotta find them. You gotta find them and put the 3 bridge pieces in the bridge scene, and then it automatically assembles the bridge. Then you walk across that, and then you go to the phone booth with the phone above it. With the phone above it, second a diamond, the phone above it. You walk into that, and the game's over. But first, you gotta get the pieces of bread. Or no, let's see what you put the robbers in jail first. That's number 1. Because then you go bam, 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 bam. Put all 6 of them in there, and then because they're in different scenes. But if you play the game a lot, you know exactly where they're at first. And if you don't get them at first, they're gonna be all throughout, like the subway and throughout the 21 screen. And and then there's a helicopter. There's a helicopter on the game. He thought because he grabbed hold of a helicopter, he was flying, and he goes, "Oh, look, I'm flying!" Because he's thinking it's a 2600 game, so just random things happen. Pfft, he's full of shit. He's full of shit. So what happens is there's a helicopter that flies around, and it finds pieces of bridge, picks them up, and puts them in a different scene, so the game's harder. And then the helicopter will also pick up Lois Lane. And so you gotta find the 6 robbers, put them in jail. You gotta find 3 pieces of bridge, put those on the bridge scene, so it builds the bridge. And you gotta and there's 2 or 3 satellites that they're just like X's, and they go like that, sort of like a star. They twinkle, and if they hit you, then they take your ability to fly away. You can't fly no more once they hit you. You gotta kiss Lois Lane. If it's in the B position, I think it is, Lois Lane comes out as soon as you get hit by a satellite. Lois Lane comes out right there by you. But if it's in the A position, Lois Lane don't come out. You gotta find Lois Lane like a robber, like you would a robber, except it's Lois Lane. But on the B position, Lois Lane comes out as soon as you get hit by one of those kryptonite satellites. If you get hit by a kryptonite satellite, then Lois Lane comes out. If it's in the B position. So, and you can pick up Lois Lane too, and you can pick up the helicopter as long as you're flying. But when you're standing, you can't pick nothing up. Just go walk by it. Like if there's a bridge piece right there, I'll walk by it and it won't pick it up. You gotta be flying. You gotta fly into it. Like you gotta fly into a robber. You gotta fly into a bridge piece. And see, but you can walk into a phone booth and go to the subway, or you can fly into it, like drag your feet through it, like that dumbass did all the time. You didn't know where he's at. You gotta learn how to play the game. Listen to this video and you know how to play the game. And so after you assemble the bridge, you put all 6 robbers in jail. Then you go to the phone booth, the starting phone booth, and that changes you back into Clark Kent. At first, you're flying, and you're flying like above the phone booth, and when you click start the game, it goes down and changes into Superman. But so then you do the game, and you get to 6 robbers, you get to 3 pieces of bridge. First, you get to 3 pieces of bridge. No. First, you put in the 6 robbers because you know where they're at. You know where they're at. After you played a while, after you played a few times, you know where all the robbers are at. I'm going to tell you why I'm saying this. You put the robbers in first. At first. Put all 6 robbers in jail. And then you go get their pieces of bridge. Okay, now the reason I say that is because the robbers are in a general location when you first start. So it's going to be a lot easier. And if you wait too long, the robbers will be all through the subway, all through the 21 screens. And not only that, the helicopter picks them up and puts them around too, just like they do the bridge piece in Lois Lane. But that's what the helicopter's for, to add a little twist to the game. And so after you do all that, and this is why I tell you to get to robbers first, because I've completed this game in 45 seconds, and this guy was over like a half an hour and still didn't complete it. I've completed it in 40 seconds personally. 45 seconds. 45 because the guy I used to play with all the time, he beat my score. He completed it in 34 seconds. See, I was 45 and he was 34, so it's 11 points difference. See, so or 11 seconds different, because it goes by seconds. It's counting, but the counter up here is counting all the time. So I had a top score for a while. 45 seconds completed. Put all the 6 robbers in jail and built a bridge. Got to the phone booth, changed back in Clark Kent, walked across the bridge into the diamond shape with a phone, blue diamond shape with a phone in it. Phone booth, going to that. Boom, game's over. 45 seconds. Most people on YouTube only do it in about a minute or a minute 15 seconds. I haven't seen no one get it under a minute yet on YouTube. But all I have to do is get an Atari 2600 and play that game, and I'll get it below a minute, and have that guy I used to play Superman with, have him do it. He'll do it in 35 seconds. And that's without the I guess there's a code that you can put it, like up, down, left, and right, like that, and button or start. That'll make it so the bridge don't explode. I didn't know about that code, and neither did he. I asked him, and but he did it in 35. I did it in 45, and I completed the game in 45 seconds. Put six robbers in jail. Got 3 pieces of bridge. Went back to the phone booth. Changed in at Clark Kent. Walked across the bridge. Went to the phone booth with a diamond-shaped blue thing with a phone on it, and changed and end the game. 45 seconds, and so did the guy I played with. He did 34 seconds, because it was 11 seconds difference, which is a lot in that game. That's a lot in that game. Because I did it in 45, he did it in 34. So, yeah, he beat me by 11 seconds, and that's a lot in that game. Most people are over a minute. But that's why I say collect the robbers, the 6 robbers first, and then get the pieces of bridge. Because by the time the helicopter goes over to switch the robbers around in different screens and pick up pieces of bridge and put them in different screens, I'll have all the robbers in jail already, and you probably won't move anywhere. Once in a while I'll probably get one piece of bridge. I won't know where it's at, and then that screws my time up. But that's why I do the robbers first, because the robbers are 6 different places. They can be in 6 different places. But Superman Atari 2600 is a badass game. Superman Atari 20. That's like one of the very first games I got. That was badass. That's a badass game. Atari 2600 Superman. Don't believe these idiots on YouTube that don't even know how to play the game unless they watch this video. If they watch this video, yeah, then they'll know how to play it. God, this guy didn't even know what the kryptonite satellite was. Didn't know. He called Lois Lane a stewardess, a stewardess, and he didn't know nothing. He didn't know jack about Superman, and he's saying, "Oh, there's nothing about this game that's about the movie." That game's all about the movie. Everything in that game is about the movie. He said there's nothing in that game other than Superman himself that has anything to do with the movie. It's got a subway in it. It's got Superman. It's got Lois Lane, the writer that was his co-worker. It's got Clark Kent. It's got Superman. It's got the robbers, Lex Luthor, and the other 5. I can't name all of them, but one guy with a gun, and the other guys, the other robbers. But it's got everything to do with the movie. All the movies got everything to do with it. This is a DC game, man. He's crazy. I couldn't believe he rated that game. He shouldn't even be playing that game. He shouldn't even rated that game. He's a fool. Well, I'm damned. It's 6/7/2015. Oh, I'm damned. Same time, same channel. See you then. What did you do today? Oh, with the Atari 2600 Superman, I forgot to mention the the Vision, the one in the Superman. Yeah, the Atari 2600 Superman, the X-ray Vision. That's when it's played with the joysticks with Atari 2600. Superman is played with the joysticks, and when you hold the button down and then push the joystick up, down, left, or right. It's up, down, left, or right with the button down. You have to have the button down. So when you have the button down, it goes like that because it's your X-ray vision. And X-ray vision is done whenever you're flying or if you're standing or walking. You push the button down and push up, down, left, and right. And what that does is it shows you you're in one screen, and then if you have the button down and you push up, you see the screen above you. You see it, so you don't have to go in it. And if you pull it back, see the bottom screen, you see the bottom screen. And then if you push it to the left, with a button, it's always the button down. You see the screen to the left before you go into it. And then if you push it to the right, then you see the right screen. So you see the up, down, left, and right by holding the button down and pushing the joystick accordingly. That way, up, down, left, or right. That's X-ray vision. And you don't move. Once you push that button down, then you don't move, and you push the joystick up. You see the the screen above you. You push the joystick, pull the joystick back. You see the screen below you, and if you push the joystick to the left, you see the screen to the left, and then if you push it to the right, you see the screen to the right. Okay, that's what the X-ray vision does. And when you let up on it, then you fly. But I forgot to say that. That's the X-ray vision of Superman. Atari 2600 Superman. X-ray vision is when you push the button down and hold it, and push up, down, left, or right with a joystick, with the button down. That's your X-ray vision, and you stay in the same screen. And then if you let up, you fly on the next screen, and you do the same thing, and you see the up, down, left, and right. It's a really cool game. If you know how to play Atari 2600 Superman, it's a really cool game. And I mean, it's one of my favorite games of the 2600. Atari Superman is one of my favorite games of the Atari 2600. It's the best game. It's like one of the best games ever made. The Atari 2600 Superman. And that's what I left out. So don't forget to use your Superman X-ray vision. Your Superman X-ray vision. Push the button down, push left, or push up, left, push up, down, left, or right, or any direction, any of the directions, and you see that screen, the up or down or left or right screen, and you won't go into it, but you'll see what's in there. The reason you do that, the reason you push up, down, left, and right, and hold the button down, while you're holding the button down, so you're looking for robbers. Okay, you're looking for robbers, and your way. You're also looking, map out your direction, so you can see that screen before you go into it with X-ray vision. So you're looking for, the reason you use X-ray vision is so you can see where if the robbers are up, down, left, or right of you, and and to find your way, to know what screen it is up there, because they don't go in order. When you go up or down, they don't go in the same order as you going to the right or to the left. Okay, you go to the right in Atari 2600 Superman, and you go 21 screens that way to the right. If you go left, you go 21 screens to the left. But if you go up, you go 5 or 6 screens away from that screen. And then if you do it in the next screen, you go 5 or 6 screens from that screen, and so on. But the only way you stay in screen sequence, the 21 screen sequence of the original Metropolis City or Superman, is to go to the right 21 screens or to the left 21 screens. Otherwise, if you go up, you skip a bunch of screens, like 6 screens ahead or back, and then down. I never really mapped that one out, but I mapped all 21 screens. That's why I know there's 21 screens. And then the subway. Now, remember what I said? If you go to the right, you'll go 21 screens, and if you go to the left, you go 21 screens. Well, when you go into the subway, you won't get to the subway. The subway is not part of the Metropolis City. The Metropolis City is all different. It's different. It's your city. Then you got the subway, which are like red, blue, green. Let's see, red, blue, green. I think orange. Red, blue, green, and orange. Okay. So when you get to the subway, which whenever you go through a phone booth, that's what you do. You go to the subway. Okay. Now, as long as you fly up, bam, 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 like that. Or if you fly down, bam, 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 you stay in the subway. So it's just the opposite of when you're in the city. When you're in the city, you go 21 screens like that, or 21 screens that way to the left, 21 screens to the right. But there's 21 total screens of Metropolis City. Okay, so when you go up, bam, 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 it makes that noise. Anytime you go up out of any screen, it goes bam, bam, bam. And whenever you go down, it goes bam, 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 like that. Whenever you exit a screen, up or down, it goes bam, bam, bam. That's telling you, you're not going to be in Metropolis City sequence anymore. You're going to be in a different part of the city, like 5 or 6 screens ahead or back. So that's what that bam, bam, bam is telling you when you're in the city. Now, when you're in a subway, after you go through a phone booth, a phone booth is now the subway. When you go through any one of the things that look like that, they're a phone booth. One of them has a phone on the side. One of them has a phone up here. That's the one when you finish the game with a it's like a diamond with a phone on it, a blue diamond with a phone in it. That's the one you gotta go to and finish the game. And then you got the bridge that you build. You gotta go across that to get to it. And then there's another phone booth. But I was gonna say is when you're in a subway, when you go up, bam, 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 you stay in the subway. You go to the 4 screens. You go red, blue, green, orange, red, blue, green, and orange. I think there's only 4, but you go bam, 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 and you stay in the subway. Now, when you go down, bam, 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 you stay in the subway. And it goes in a different sequence to the subway. Now, anytime you go to the left, anytime you go to the right, you go out of the subway into a different part of the city. So that's why you gotta map out the city by the subway, and by just flying to the right and to the left. Flying to the left and right, you stay in sequence. You stay in screen sequence, unless you drag your feet. Like here's a phone booth. Unless you drag your feet, if any part of your body, your head, your feet, or anything goes through that phone booth, goes through the phone booth, you go into the subway. That's where the solid screens with no windows or pictures or anything on it. It's just plain. They're plain, like red, green, blue, orange, I think. But they're solid. That means you're in a subway. And it changes from, okay, you go 21 screens this way to the right, 21 screens this way to the left. They're not 21 new screens, just from that screen to the 21st screen is the whole metropolis city. Okay, so when you go into a phone booth to get into the subway, then if you keep going up, you go through the 4 solid screens. If you keep going down, you go through the 4 solid screens for the subway. So that's see how different that is. When you're going in the city, you go 21 screens that way to the right, 21 screens to the left. Now when you're in subway, it's just the opposite. When you go left and right, it goes out of the subway. So when you go up, then you stay in sequence of the subway. Now you're going up and stay in sequence. So when you go up, you go 4 screens that way or 4 screens that way. See, so you're in a subway, and then when you go 4 screens that way or 4 screens that way, just keep repeating the 4 screens. Go bam, bam, bam. I don't care how many times you do it, and I don't care how many times you go up. Bam, 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 bam. It stays in sequence of them four colored, solid color screens for the subway. Okay, so it's just the opposite of when you're out in a metropolis city. When you're in a subway, when you go up, it stays in sequence. But when you're outside of the subway, when you're in a metropolis city, either way, like this, you go 21 screens that way, 21 that way. But if you go up, now you skip, 5 or 6 screens. And same thing if you go down. So when that guy was at the bridge site, and he had a piece of bridge, and he didn't drop it. By the way you drop anything, robber, piece of the bridge or Lois Lane, is to be standing. You can't be flying. If you keep flying, you'll hang on to whatever you got. You keep hanging on to it. You gotta drop down and have Superman so he's standing and he can walk. So once he does that, he drops whatever he has. Once he's standing, that's how you drop stuff. Well, this guy didn't drop it. He accidentally went down a little too far, and when he went down past the bridge, he was in like 5 or 6 screens away. So as soon as he went down, I missed it. He thought he was just gonna go right back up to the bridge, which he's 5 or 6 screens, like that way or that way of it. And he says, "Oh, it disappeared. What is it?" And he goes, "What is this stuff?" He says, "This ain't. Oh, that's impossible. You can't do that. You can't do that. You can't make screens disappear. You can't make screens disappear." He doesn't know how to play the game. There's a reason why when you go up and when you go down, you go to different parts of the city. It's beneficial for you. It's like a bus route. Instead of subways, it's like a bus route. And it takes you to different parts of the city. And that's good. Otherwise, if it wasn't like that, you'd have to fly 21 screens that way, 21 screens that way. So, if you miss your screen somewhere, and let's say it went up and that stays in that same screen, then you get nowhere. See, so you'd be 21 screens away from where you want to be. That way and 21 that way. So, it's beneficial for that to change like that. Like a sub, or like not a subway, but a bus route. That'd be like the bus route in Metropolis City. And the subway is like in the Metropolis City, a subway takes you to the different parts of the city. And those stay the same. They don't change. They don't change when you go through the subway. It goes bam, 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 and then go to the right or left out of each one of the colors. Each one of the colors, you go to that part of the city. So it's a very organized game. There ain't no, oh, it disappeared. Like that guy, on that screen, bridge screen, he says, "Oh, I just look at that." He even did a replay. "Oh yeah, it went down, right?" And then he did a replay, and it showed like this, went down. There's the bridge screen, and went down. And when he went back up, he was 6 screens away. That's the way the game's played. It doesn't disappear. It takes you to a different part of the city when you go down. When you go up, it takes you to a different part of the city. See, that's what he didn't know. He didn't know that. He probably still don't know that. He's got to watch this video. I'm going to post this on YouTube. But anyway, that's the 2 things I forgot. I forgot to tell you about the subway and how you stay in the subway as long as you go up and down, and how you go out the right and left side of each of the screens subway, and you're in a different part of the city. Just gotta remember, you gotta remember where everything is. I mapped it out. I mapped 21 screens just to see how many screens there were. And I had like a little map, a piece of paper on every screen for every screen. And then when you go down, because I was confused too, like that guy. I was confused, so I mapped it all out, and I found out why things are what they were. And it's great. It's beautiful, man. It's a beautiful game. You gotta buy Superman. See, I seen it on I seen Superman for sale for like under $5. I'm going, God, these guys must not know how to play, because this is a beautiful game. I love it. But those are two things I forgot to tell you. The subway, when you go up, or down, like that, you stay in the subway. And it's just the opposite in the metropolis city. When you go like this, when you go to the right, it stays in this screen sequence for 21 screens. If you go left, it stays in the sequence for 21 screens, and you don't see the subway until you go into a phone booth. Or if you accidentally drag your feet just barely in it, you go into the subway. Or if you head, or whatever goes into that phone booth, you're going to go into the subway. And then you go into different solid color screens. And you're no longer in Metropolis City, you're in the subway of Metropolis. See how easy that is? You watch the screen, you love this game. I beat it in 45 seconds, and my friend, we used to play all the time, he beat it in 34 seconds. 34 seconds. It's almost a half a minute. But those are the two things I didn't talk about is the X-ray vision. You hold the button down, go up, down, left and right to see those screens that are above you and each side of you, above and below and each side of you, and the subway, how that works. Those are two important points that I didn't say.